#MSW.
You may begin to feel anxious or excited.
Honest, deliberate, engaging, uncensored.
High dosage administration can cause adverse reactions.
And most importantly, independent in mind.
This is a normal response. Are you ready?
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I mean, I definitely spent more time with God over the last year or two. As Kanye would say, you gotta find God, fam. So that's what I did.
But I know it sounds good. Is it? You know they call me fella in Versace.
Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Kenny McLeod is here as well, UEFA assist official. What did you find, though? I mean, be brutally honest.
I can't believe you're expecting a Scottish man to be blunt. I mean,
Changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the world.
You're a little bit confused, saying that here's a South African national team, Banyana, who are heading off to Turkey.
In terms of football, but I mean, mentally, what is it that these soccer players are going to find when they arrive here? How do you play in conditions like this?
Robert Marawa, live on 947. Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live. #MSW.
Big football night tonight, 947. We are live across Vuma FM, Rise FM, as well as Sowetan Live. Welcome to the movement. We are in an interactive show. Anytime and at any stage, do send us your WhatsApp voice notes. Your expectation for the big game tonight. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta saying that the huge anger that the team felt over Saturday's VAR error cost them 2 points against Brentford, has also made the players as well as the staff and the fans even stronger. They'll be chasing their very first English Premier League title since back in 2004. Now, referees chief, that's Howard Webb, had to contact the club on Sunday to apologize for significant and human error.
We ended up the game after analyzing all the evidence that we had on the images with a huge anger and disappointment. Because that wasn't a human error. That was a big not conceiving and understanding your job, and that's not acceptable. I'm sorry, and that cost Arsenal 2 points, and that's not going to be restored. So we're going to have to find those 2 points somewhere else in the league. But at the same time, we appreciate the apology. We appreciate the explanations, which were really open, to be fair. And we got a lot of sympathy from a lot of colleagues in the industry, in football, that they are talking that we cannot play with the integrity of the game in the way that we do. And that's it, and we have to move on. That certainly has made the players, staff, and our fans even stronger and with more desire to pass this hurdle that they put on us. So we are ready for it. I will be only satisfied if they give me the 2 points back, which is not going to be the case. I appreciate, and I think they were really sincere, open, and genuine apologies and explanation, which is really good. But it doesn't take the fact that we have 2 less points that we should have on the table. Everybody makes errors and mistakes, and we are part of that. Me, the first one, for sure, in our job, but that was something else, and that's where I wasn't having it, the club wasn't having it, and I think it's clear, the consequences of what happened. When I see the reaction, for example, that Howard Webb had and the PGMO and the Premier League had, and again, how genuine it was, that that anger, and as well, they want to do the best as they can, and they know the standards and everything that is at stake. I think at the end it will help, and hopefully we can use that to make the game better and have more integrity on it, have better professionals, and really pay attention to detail that matters, because at the end of the day has a significant output on results.
Manager Pep Guardiola believes that Arsenal are still a force to be reckoned with, despite dropping points in their last 2 games. Man City head to the Emirates Stadium for a match that could have a huge say in the destination of this season's Premier League title.
It will be the same dangers. Of course, the team is not used to drop points. When every time drop, the next game is you have something special, of course, but would have been the same. But watching the 2 games that yesterday I watched, I don't have the feeling that they drop the way they're playing, and I think Arsenal reached the level that means when you are a good team is that the opponent always adapt to you, who you are. There's a lot of points. When I said a lot of points to play, not just I'm talking about us. So yeah, I think the Premier League when it's tight, except you with the margin for a long, many points that can happen in the next weeks. We don't know. So always I had the feeling, especially now, so the European competition, Champions League and Europa League and FA Cups will be already. It's around the corners next week. So that's why I had the feeling late 10 games are going to decide for the win the titles. In that moment, just try to be there. Because motivation, I don't want to be dropped the Premier League just because we are not who we are. If they beat us because they are better, it's a sport. I would be the first to congratulate them. I always have done in my career, in our career. So, but not because we are not there. So we wanted, okay, fight to, take it from our hands and still is in our hands. We defend until the last day this title. So this is what I would like to do, to fight, who we are at maximum to try to retain the title. If it don't happen, it's because the other one was better.
All right, so tonight's a big night. Arsenal as well as Manchester City going head-to-head in the biggest game of the season. Top spot on the line. Now, Mikel Arteta's Gunners currently sit at the top of the table with 3 points. Then City, who are in second. Arsenal, though, have also got one game in hand over the title rivals. And to help us break down what we can expect from this encounter tonight, we go all the way to the United Kingdom. That's where Marawa Sports Worldwide heads to. John Barnes, a football legend and pundit, joins me. John, thank you so much for your time. Good evening and welcome.
How you doing, Robert? Nice to hear from you.
It's been a while, Mr. Barnes, but it takes a big occasion to draw the big guns like yourself. Are you looking forward to this as much as everybody else around the world?
Absolutely. They're the two best teams in the Premier League at the moment, playing with confidence. They're very similar. Arteta spent many years at Manchester City. They both have a Barcelona-type philosophy, and they're playing well. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
The style of play, obviously attributed to a Pep Guardiola, whichever way you want to look at it. But what has impressed you the most, John, about Arsenal, the approach, regardless of who they have had to let go of, regardless of who they've had to bring in? But what has stood out?
Their consistency, because we saw last year, a couple of years ago, with these good young players, how they performed. But of course, we said, well, they need a bit more experience because when push came to shove and they went behind or they weren't playing well, they couldn't get a result. Whereas now you can see the fruition of sticking with the manager, supporting him. We had this battle with Aubameyang and he won that battle, so the other players stood up and took notice. And then this year, what I said may go against them is they're still young, still inconsistent, and when they go behind, how do they respond? But every time I've seen them go behind, they've come back, they've played well, so the young players really have grown. So it's going to be a big test against Manchester City, but I think that they have shown that in adversity they can get results.
Are they losing the plot? A lot of Arsenal fans a bit worried, saying the little speed wobble they've hit now is concerning. Is it concerning for you?
Well, look, if you say to Arsenal fans at the start of the season, you're going to be 5 points clear at this stage, and having only lost 2 games, they'd have taken it. So, of course, football fans are unrealistic. To call this a wobble when they're still 5 points clear is a bit unfair. I've always said that coming into March, April, regardless of how well you're playing, can you get results? They're the sign of champions. And Arsenal have shown that. So I don't see that as a wobble, even if they lose tonight. Because to be honest with you, I still make Man City favourites tonight. But even if Arsenal lose tonight, doesn't mean that they can't go all the way.
Should he name the same team? I mean, in a 7 consecutive league match, is that what we call consistency?
Well, yes, consistency of performance. And I'm so pleased for them, particularly like having Nketiah. Obviously, Jesus is out. And we've always said, will they have a number 9 to score goals? That was the question mark. And even without a number 9, yes, Nketiah is scoring goals, but he's not a Haaland. He's not a Salah or someone who's going to score that amount of goals. But they've shared the goals around. They're playing in a way to create chances for everyone. Very similar to what Manchester City did before Haaland came. So I'm sure that they'll still perform well. But it's going to be a big test tonight against Man City.
But you saw in the game against Aston Villa, the clash there with goalkeeper Emi Martinez. So they have to make a ruling. They have to assess the injury, though, to Erling Haaland. What do you think Pep's approach will be? I mean, here's a man who's come into the EPL, John, and really smashed records.
Yes, he has. And what we said before was that he didn't change the way Man City played. He just gave them that option of in and around the box when they can put a cross in, that he will be getting on the end of it, and it's what he's done. He's quick, he's strong, he can play through balls for him, but if teams defend deep, you get wide, you get the crosses, and he can score. And the fact that he hasn't...
All right, we'll get John back on the line. Felt that. Can't blame load shedding now, can we? But we wait for John to bounce back onto the line. Let's get some thoughts as well from Mikel Arteta.
A great energy. I sense it since I arrived after the Brentford game from the staff, from everywhere at the club. It was that mixture between anger and desire to play the next game. So we need to use that for tomorrow. What they have done in the last 6 years, they absolutely merit it. They merit it on the pitch, and the way they play, the way they have competed, the way they have gone through difficulties. And for us, the challenge is to get to that level, and we need to use that challenge and that energy to. This is what we want to be, and this is the level, and we are heading towards it. We are comparing two very different things with huge experiences in doing that, and a lot of our players that never done it. But we want to use that energy, that will, and that anger that we have inside to make the most out of it. We play with 15 players tomorrow. That they are so into it in every single ball and giving us energy, support, and basically what they've been doing. And let's enjoy a beautiful night in a really special day. Well, I was working there, I was studying a lot, but I was working there, and it was an incredible experience in the personal and professional level to be with him, but with all the coaching staff and staff that was and the players that they were at the time. And like every experience, it just it made me a better person, a better player for sure, a better coach for sure, and you use those experiences for your own career.
Using experience for your own career. John Barnes is back. We got him on the line again. John, VAR over the weekend hampered a lot of what Arsenal's ambitions were all about. We had a clip earlier on that I played to all our listeners here, and it spoke about having overcome that. Psychologically, do you think they'll still carry that into an encounter like this?
Yes, I think that, both teams are playing with confidence, so I don't think that one team has an advantage psychologically to the other. I think where Manchester City, what I was trying to make when they got cut off, probably made a bit of a mistake is when they tried to play Haaland and Alvarez. They're both centre forwards, and they really don't. The way Manchester City play, they need one striker. And the rest of them, when you talk about two wide players, three in midfield and two coming forward. And I think when they actually, because it doesn't follow that just because you play two strikers, you're going to score more goals. You have to look at the way the team plays, and I don't think that suits them, and I don't think Pep will make that mistake again.
And also just trying to avoid something that I picked up during the day because they are at risk, City, of losing 3 consecutive away league games for the very first time since 2020. And that's something that Pep will be pretty much aware of. The counter versus somebody that he knows so well in Mikel Arteta?
Absolutely. But of course, the fact that they know each other well doesn't mean that I don't think it necessarily gives an advantage to either. It's just a question of Man City have more experience. Arsenal are younger, inexperienced. They obviously are doing better this year than they did last year because they've grown with that experience, but they still are young. They haven't been here before. But City will be under pressure because, of course, if Arsenal win, it gives them that cushion as well as having a game in hand. So they'll be under more pressure. But Man City have been through this pressure before, so I think it's going to be really exciting.
What do you make of Kevin De Bruyne these days?
What I make of Kevin De Bruyne these days is what I've made of him for the last 3 or 4 years. He's a fabulous player. He's a real team player who works for the team. Yes, he's a good individual player as well. But, you ask him to play in any position, to do any role, and he does it. So I think he's the most important player for Manchester City. Yes, Haaland will score the goals, but when he performs, City performs.
And if Arsenal fans listening and saying, what would it take to win? I don't see these teams, John, as parking the bus type of teams, surely.
No, they don't. But what's also helped Arsenal, as much as, you talk about the balance of the side, is, and I'm hearing reports that he may not be there, Thomas Partey. Because Thomas Partey coming into that defensive midfield role to really protect Arsenal, whereby they've always had good attacking players. You've got Odegaard, you've got Saka, you've got Martinelli. They play in a good style in terms of what the manager wants them to do. But I think that they've always been, I won't say they're weak at the back, but in midfield they've not had strong enough players to help them. With Partey coming in alongside Saka now, who's playing much better, I think that helps. So interesting to see. I'm hearing reports that he may not be playing tonight. It could be a big loss for Arsenal. But I think that would be, I think he has been Arsenal's most important player, protecting the back four.
I have to squeeze this in before I let you go, John. Liverpool, how do you summarize your season?
Well, Well, I know you haven't followed it for a long while because Liverpool have been doing so well and you're just waiting for this to happen, Rob, but that's okay. I think if you saw Liverpool against Everton the other night, you will see the real Liverpool. And the real Liverpool is when you have three hard-working midfield players who will then win the ball quickly to allow the front three to do what they do, allow Trent Alexander and Robertson to get forward because they'll get back and defend. As much as I love Thiago and Harvey Ellis and people like that, who are very good on the ball, when we lose the ball, it's very easy to get into our back four. It has been. And regardless of the personnel, because the personnel against Everton was Matip and Gomez, who people have said that, they haven't been playing well this season because you could get at them. But you saw against Everton, who were full of confidence after beating Arsenal, that if you have the right balance, and those three hard-working midfield players for me are the essence of what Liverpool is. So hopefully we can kick on from now.
The part that you always hated, John, when we worked together, your prediction?
For the game tonight?
Yeah.
I have to say that I think Manchester City will win. As much as it's going to be a close game, I think it's important for Arsenal to start well. But I think if Man City dominate and get on top and score, I think they'll win. So I'm going for Man City.
Man City to win. Also a gentleman that you know very well from your days of coming through to South Africa, Ernst Middendorp. You remember him? He says hello. He's going to be my guest after I've said that to you. Yeah, Ernest?
Hello, John. Yeah. Thank you very much. Of course, it's also a crucial
John.
match. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, John Barnes, the football legend and, legend all round as far as England, Liverpool is concerned. You heard his prediction. And after the break, we'll probably hear Ernst Middendorp's prediction. Maybe he's got different things to worry about. He is the coach of Swallows Football Club. And where they are right now in terms of the log table is not where he wants them to be. So stick around. We'll get your thoughts. It's a Wednesday. Soccer Night right here. Hashtag MSW.
Hashtag MSW. Live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. At the same time. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
I was a bit confused. Our national team is leaving. They're going to Turkey. We're going to be linking up with renowned SABC News journalist Criselda Lewis, who's going to give us a clear picture of how things are in Turkey right now and what Banyana can expect.
On arrival here in the area where we are in Hatay City, everything is damaged. There are very few buildings that are still standing, and you could tell by the look on the faces of those who have lost their loved ones or who are still waiting for rescuers to dig through the rubble, through the debris, in the hopes of finding their loved ones. It is just absolutely devastating. I mean, the death toll is now fast moving towards 40,000.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Ukhuluma noSibongeleni kwaMkhwane kaMgaya Mathafene. Mr. Marawa, as I said yesterday, PSG, we have seen them losing their third game in a row, Mr. Marawa. Considering the quality that they have in their team, it's surprising to see them going through such a bad patch. They're coming to today's game between Borussia Dortmund and Chelsea. I think Dortmund will walk away victorious in today's games. And then coming to the Premier League, there is a big one today, top of the table clash between Manchester City and Arsenal. As much as I would like to see Arsenal winning that game, Mr. Marawa, but Man City, they are very dangerous. They are not doing very well lately, so I expect a very tough game for Arsenal. And then coming to the issue raised by Tebogo, I think he's 100% correct, Mr. Marawa. I was hoping that Benny McCarthy maybe will join one of the big teams in South Africa, particularly the ones from Soweto, because they were not having a coach by that time. Man United took him. But I wish him all the best in England. He's doing very well. He's flying a South African flag there and African flag. So I wish him all the best. Thank you.
Marawa Sakila here from Peter Marisbeck. Yes, with no doubt, Benny McCarthy has been a huge contributor to soccer in South Africa, and I believe a huge contributor to soccer in the world. It's only normal for these teams like Porto and the rest to to, hail him because he's done brilliantly. It's only South Africa where we only find our voice in terms of giving people their props is when they have passed on, and that's a very painful thing that we do. I don't know where's our Hall of Fame, Soccer Hall of Fame, where is it advertised and shown where we indicate to people that soccer in South Africa has a history and it's got greats in that history.
Marawa Sports Worldwide, changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the
We'll tell you about what happened in this day in history. Coming up a little bit later on. Do send us your WhatsApp voice notes, any questions or comments to our guest here tonight. I mean, he's certainly what you would call furniture to South African soccer. I mean, football is his daily bread. I mean, he was born in Freien, Germany, and South Africa has been his home for him for many years. In fact, nearly 2 decades now. Now, the part that over the weekend I was taken aback by is that he has overseen 403 Premier Soccer League matches over his 11 spells with 7 different clubs in the country. I guess no other foreign coach has eclipsed his record thus far, and he doesn't see anyone doing that at least in the next half century. That is very bold. But as much as I've known Ernst Middendorp, very outspoken, remains evergreen. And many who've worked with him describe him as a master tactician and intelligent mentor. If you want to watch him live, simply go to YouTube so you can watch and listen at the same time. Post your comments /947 Joburg, wherever you are around the world. Good evening, Ernst Middendorp. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening, Robert.
403. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I think it's a huge achievement, in particular if you go to the history of PSL and in the past more than 50 years. I'm really the one with a very high number, I think the highest on the foreign side, and I'm quite sure in the next 50 years you will not be somebody
You're very confident about that. Why do you say that?
It's a little bit the dynamic we have here in soccer in South Africa, probably all over the world. I'm not quite sure. I can only say in the moment it's really not an easy task. If you survive here as a foreign coach in South Africa and have this number of games currently, I think it's a huge compliment. On the other side, I believe, and it should happen, qualifying of coaches, qualifying of local coaches, qualifying really in the right dynamic with the right knowledge is a part of SAFA, is part what can be definitely improve. There's no doubt about it, and I hope there will be some dynamics in the near future that we have the better understanding, not of foreign and local. We have the better understanding of being a global coach. It doesn't matter if you coach in Saudi Arabia, in Dubai, or in South Africa, Germany, or which country ever.
But why do you think that your longevity has been as long as it has? There's foreign coaches that come here and we never see them again. A good friend of mine, Paul Dolaza, kind of disappeared. He went back to France. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. Vermasovic, I can name a whole lot of foreign coaches that we don't hear of, maybe don't see as well. What do you think has been so special about Ernst Middendorp coming back, but not just coaching teams, coaching top teams?
I think it's a question of competence, and competence is definitely, first of all, the knowledge you have about, and secondly is the experience. This adding means that it doesn't matter which owner of a club or which chairman is looking for somebody. These are components he can find, and I'm quite confident about that these are the reasons why you have some long-lasting time here spent in South Africa in the PSL.
Why do coaches get fired so easily in South Africa? Why do you find one day Ernst Middendorp is at Chipper United, next day he's at Maritzburg United, the next day he's hovering around somewhere, then the next day he gets employed somewhere, but you don't last too long. You're another club again. What's with that trend?
No, it's something where I think the ownerships in South Africa over the last 18 years, what I can talk about, has changed. This ownerships we had probably in 2005 when I came in with a very clear structured clubs of Ike and Bloemfontein, Bidwest and other clubs. It's all overtaken by a person who have a good mind, who are really thinking they are going into the right direction, but then they get all of a sudden carried away. Football is more than just to be the owner. Football is more where you have really the knowledge what's going on, what's in terms of the holistic approach, signing, recruiting, keep calm in certain moments. And I think that is a little bit lost in this direction, what caused very often to say, okay, what can we do? We cannot change 20, 30 players. We coach next coach and so on. And I think this is a little bit what should stop, what is not the right way in my opinion. If you want to have quality, if you want to have a right direction, we talk a lot as coaches over game model and philosophy and principles. I hear it from each and every corner. So now you want to tell me you want to introduce a game model over 1 or 2 years? No chance. No chance. You have first of all, you need this 1 or 1.5 years first of all to indicate, to really make sure assessing what is available, what is there. And then you start thinking about with the resources, which type of game model can be introduced here and so on. I can talk about for the next 24 hours what should be done and what can be done. And this is totally underestimated. That is more than less the basic philosophy means you have to implement first before you want to achieve something.
Before we break away to other issues, especially around Swallows and what is in celebrating what is a milestone that maybe went unnoticed by many South Africans, which is exactly that 403 here in the country. You're a straight shooter. And if I ask you, which of the clubs that you've coached has treated you the best as far as a professional coach should be treated, which follows global standards?
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest happiness in terms of implementing ideas fully, even if it was a short time, was definitely Free State Stars. You will be surprised, but everybody was thinking, no, this Mike Mokoena is interfering, he is telling you what to do, and so on. The opposite was the case. He made it very clear what he expected, and that was definitely a fantastic time. Professionally, of course, there are a team like Kaizer Chiefs has a professional. Of course, we were not really, or I was not really happy in the end of the time with certain circumstances, no doubt about it. But the professionalism on this club side is on the highest level. There's no doubt about it. I wish they can indicate a certain development, a certain direction, and use the resources they have used to the maximum. That's what I'm always talking about. The knowledge, the resources, the infrastructure. If you have it in place, then use it to the maximum, and I think there is space for improvement.
So if Free State Stars, which I found very interesting though, but I know the love that the late Mike Mgwena had for football, and that is why he would never shy away from going across the border, going to get what you call foreign players that nobody has heard of, who would come and become big superstars in this country. If Free State Stars and Chiefs are the two that treated you as a professional, who's treated you the worst? Which club?
I think absolutely, there is no doubt about it. We don't have to guess, we don't have to whatever. My time in Chipper United was hell, was absolutely something where I think actually what happened here, for more than less, 1 week was fine, the next day, sorry, with all respect, I mentioned it very clear. You mentioned it before, straight shooting, and probably they have developed themselves over the years. It was I think in 2015, I'm not quite sure. But at that time, unbelievable circumstances, unbelievable talks, unbelievable habits, what I have seen over there and experienced.
Was it unprofessionalism, or was it just
the
disrespecting the game?
No, the unprofessionalism is a word. It gets used several times. It was not the case. It was about who is available for making decisions. It's about presenting the authority. It's about having a very clear idea about the infrastructure. How can it be used? Knowing and being realistic in terms of the facts you have around, and so on. And we can continue. There are aspects. What really at that time, I don't know how it's today, at that time really not in a way as it should be.
But there's no outstanding issues. I mean, whatever they were due to pay you has been paid, all settled, you've moved on.
Yes, of course. That's the next. You will be surprised if there's something not going the way. And I can only inspire each and every coach who has an issue, has something, let's clarify it with the court. There were court case very clear. It's a PSL. It was not even necessary to go to FIFA. It was very clear from my two lawyers. At that time, Mr. Smith, he had nothing to do with soccer. He didn't even know if the ball is round or oval or whatever, but he knows the law. The labor law, and he made it very clear to each and everybody, and then it was sorted in one day.
The last time I spoke to you, there was rumors that you would be going to Swallows.
Yeah.
There were rumors then. And you've ended up at Swallows. Again, a struggling team. And as calls upon your expertise to come and help solve a problem. There were issues about transfers where they couldn't sign players for a prolonged period. So where you are now, and I watched the game, the Nedbank Cup game over the weekend. You were equally disappointed. It showed on your face. Is there hope for this team right now? Is there hope for them to survive relegation?
That's our main target. That's my main target with going into Swallows FC on the 19th of December. Not long. Sometimes people think I've been there for a number of years, but we can count it in days. That's the reality. Today we have the 15th of February coming in. Now you count the days. I was approached after they separated with Dylan Kerr. I was approached already in September, I think was the first time, going over October. And the chairman, David, was consistently introducing himself with his thinking, with his ideas. He never stopped, and he caught me in December, in the middle of December, and good. I said, okay, let's then do it. It was clear he was not aware about it. If he can solve this FIFA issue, it was clear he was not aware about it to promise anything in terms of players bringing in. I said, okay, good. We do what is around. Try to maximize it in a certain way. And we started on the 19th of December. Of course, if you see the program, we played against Sundowns, number 1. We played twice against Richard Bay, number 2. We played against Supersport at that time, number 2. We played Sekokune at that time, number 4. So we had a number of games in a certain direction where you say, wow, can you put something out? Of course, there is a change in terms of training, in terms of the intensity. There is a change in terms of the setup we are producing. On the weekend, Nedbank Cup, we tried. We gave some players a chance to present himself, starting from the goalkeeper side, from other positions.
And that's an interesting angle. Sorry to cut in, Coach. I want to come back after the break and talk about Nedbank Cup, because it was about a few of the experiments that you're talking about that you had to make in that game that gave maybe the result that you got, or the lack of quality that you would have wanted to come through. So do join us live on the YouTube channel. I see a couple of comments as well. We'll take and pick some of those coming through live on YouTube, but also live on
Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Kenny McLeod is here as well, UEFA assist official. What do we need to knuckle down in and do it urgently for the change of the game? Because remember, again, it's not just about the women's game, it's also about the men's game. You know, South Africa with all the facilities, South Africa with all the infrastructure, with all the financial muscle they can't even qualify for Africa Cup of Nations, which is a continental thing.
I'm sure you'd agree, Robert, it's not brain surgery. You know what I mean? They're just getting back to basics and doing the things that work. Great clubs. I mean, some things we say will take an evolution, just tweak a few things here or there. Some areas will take an absolute revolution, like rip up what's happened and start again.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Hi Robert, please ask the coach Middendorp why was he released by Kaizer Chiefs after they nearly won the league and lost it to Sundowns by just 1 point. Thank you, AB Moloi from Naturena.
Hi Rob, Umkumbo Kumalolo. Thank you for bringing Coach Middendorp. You know, I always say that as Swallows we are very lucky to have a coach of his caliber. Unfortunately, he came to us and we are in a situation that we are in. Just one question for me that I have, and I know that he is very big in developing young players, but is he able to see, the talent that he will work with on his 3-year plan, with the Moroka Swallows? Has he identified players that potentially will be, the big players? They will be able to take his Swallows, going forward, as we can see that some of the players that we have are injury prone and some of them are not very young.
Good evening, Rob. It's Tebogo here, and good evening to Coach Ernst Middendorp. Coach, I believe Swallows have got the right man at the helm because your track record in saving teams from relegation speaks volume. But I just want to find out with the current assignment that you've got, what is it that is giving you sleepless nights or giving you worries? And do you think Mpomakola is one of the players that could address your problems at Moroka Swallows in terms of playing personnel and beefing up your squad? It's Tebogo here, and I just want to wish you all the best in your current campaign at Moroka Swallows.
Hey Robert, usithembise my respect. I just want to know from Middendorp Puguti, was there any interference from management when he was working for Chiefs? The second question is, when he lost the league on the last game, was there any disturbance or maybe players that were not willing to play under him, or was it because he lost the game? Thank you.
Yeah, talk about explosive, eh? The questions are coming in thick and fast. Do send us your WhatsApp voice notes 947. You're also live on Vuma FM, Rise FM, Sowetan Live, YouTube. Alambula Madida also says, welcome to the show, our evergreen and hardworking hashtag DubeBirds coach. Congratulations on your milestone. And I am glad that when you are in charge of our club, are you happy with the progress so far? So I'll take some of those comments as well coming through from the YouTube channel. Remember, just /947 Joburg. All right, let's quickly go through those questions. I think two of them, the one from AB being released from Kaizer Chiefs, we can tie with Stembis, who says, was there interference at Kaizer Chiefs and losing that last game by that point?
In clubs on this magnitude, there are always opinions. Opinions from chairman, opinions from management, directors, and of course then there's a technical team in the end, guided by the head coach. I'm quite sure there were different opinions. There were no interference, and to make it very clear, I was definitely released. Being in position 2, qualify for the Champions League, was just a disaster at that time. Simple, easy. It was presented in the final talk from the management with my presence to the team, and then everybody went into the holiday, and I went into the office of Bobby Mutaong telling me, Coach, that's it, thank you for your work, and now you can go home. We will sort it out on the contract side, and that's it. That's a simple, easy procedure. I took the way out, drove back to my house, and here we are.
Do you think it was an emotional decision that Chiefs took?
No idea. I was not really busy with it in this moment. That's the worst what can happen if you handle and make decisions guided by emotional intelligence in soccer, in this game, in sport, in the professional sport. If you have not seen what we in this moment have done with not really making big investment at that time, just to bring in some 2-3 key players, make sure that the number of players were absolutely not injury prone anymore, like Matoro, like Manyama, like Rama, Corona, a lot of players were injured when I come in. We sorted it out with a fantastic work from Jared Marsh, leading the conditioning side. Was absolutely, we got lost, no doubt about it, and now we can talk about why. When the break came in, the lockdown came in later than more than less 6 or 7 weeks later, we had to start going into the bubble and finalizing the season. So now what happened in the 6, 7, 8 weeks, you had no control as a coach. Everybody was online, everybody was at home, wherever in terms of, we thought they were at home, but as everybody knows, nobody is talking about, but a number of players were not at home, simple easy.
Were they drinking?
That is what you say. You can drink Coca-Cola, you can drink water, you can drink wine. It's also a question where everybody must understand I'm a professional footballer. I'm a professional footballer with a clear goal to go and win the league. So that's not my question to answer here. Everybody must know what he was doing, what everybody contributed in this moment to be finally probably in the end of the day on the second position.
All right, Tebogo asks a question about, well, he says, he qualifies, he says you are the right man for the job, but was asking that what causes you sleepless nights right now in your current job at Swallows?
To make it very clear, if I would not have a sleepless night, taking over a job with Swallows FC in a situation where they are in, and we still more than less in the same position when I took over, and not having sleepless nights, then something is wrong with me, then I should stop working, should go retire. I'm getting 65 in October. I think I have the right to it, but I have too much energy. That is why I took over and going into it. I'm never being satisfied. Our training sessions, let's be very honest, the first time in this week on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, were absolutely crap, were absolutely totally unhappy, where I'm not really, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's happening. We have to clarify it this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Something really is not going. Of course, I have expectation. I want to go to the next step. I want to go with little small steps, incremental, and now, of course, we have to face our final entries into the attacking third are not enough, are not good enough. Of course, we introduced now in the last 7-8 days with the technical team another approach to make happen, to have a different approach, really to be more adventurous into going forward, not to put your main point only on the defensive side, and so on. And sometimes, of course, it's an understanding. Sometimes it's really something, are we all on the same page? Are we all on the same page is probably something where everybody says yes, but go further. Are we on the same page in the same book? And that's obviously a little bit of an issue in the moment. So telling you that I believe that each and everybody has a full commitment, full focus as a player, as a team member so far, but this is something what's not working all the time. And in particular, if you don't have a preseason, if you don't have something, then you have to do it during the run of the season. Saturday game, Sunday game, Friday game. So in between, you have to progress. We need to progress in our attacking moments of the game. And that is definitely in the moment not. We were a bit more adventurous. We brought some players in the Nedbank Cup. And I have seen with certain stuff, it didn't work, causing definitely unhappiness on my side, on our side.
Yeah, I was going to say that given the unhappiness, and I can see exactly why you say you're unhappy, is the chairman aware? Is he aware right now that this week, from Monday up until present, the training sessions you've conducted, you were unhappy about?
It's not that the chairman is directly present and directly involved. Not at all. We have Elasto being in charge for the management, representing the board, representing the owner. He's every day there. We chat before training, after training, online during the day, and he knows very well how I see stuff. And I'm a straight shooter. If the training is not good, if somebody somebody is not in, if somebody is not performing and providing what I want to see, and if an entire team is not really doing it, I make it very clear in front of each and everything and that I'm doing in the moment, and we have expectation. We have 3 days time to go into the next game, and as we know, it is on our side 21 points. It is on position 6, 24 points. There is an unbelievable structure this moment in terms of the relegation battle, and if you start sleeping, if you start making a snoozy in between, you have an issue.
Talk about that issue. Tebogo did ask again about Mpho Makolo, saying that is he somebody that you believe will be a solution?
I said it several times. It's not about Mpho. He's a fantastic player, and I think he has proven it. Not only in Pirates and Cape Town City, contributing to their success in the recent years. There's no doubt about it. At Swallows, we have something like let me compare it. Something like a damaged car. What was there? Being in a position in a league where you say, it doesn't really go, it doesn't really run. Then what happened? FIFA was on our head, in our head all the time. We sorted it. The club sorted it. Huge compliment to the chairman, David. I don't know how he did it, but he solved it. Secondly, bringing in a number of players. Let's say it's like handicap parts you bring in, and now it's not about that you take this damaged cars and you take the handicap parts, and now in 1 day, in 2 days, in 3 days, you want to have it run like butter, like each and everything is fantastic. That's not the case. You need to align it. You tune it. You need to find the solution in the right direction. And that is what happened here. Evans Ruziki, for example, a fantastic player. Bongani Sam, a fantastic player. We can continue with other players we have brought in the last number of 2-3 weeks after FIFA break was done. David Oromi and so on, but all these players have been not on a field, have not been competitive with teams before over a period of 7 to 10 months. So now, what are you expecting? If you are not, if you train even with a team, some have trained with a team, some have not even trained with a team. Now you expect you go to the field and do the job as you can do in a maximum way. It's not possible. You need time.
So is that the same with Given Tibet? Because you had to let him go. I looked at the records. He hasn't kicked a ball professionally since December 2021.
Exactly. A player with talent. I know him from Kaizer Chiefs, no doubt about it. I don't know really what happened in the near past with him in a way. So at a certain time, you must make decision. Is he able to provide what you want to see into this direction? And then you decide. The same now back to Mpho. He hasn't played. He is not really probably in training sessions, and with a number of players we have we have so many challenges, issues to really provide them that they be able to bring the maximum to the field when we compete with Cape Town City or with Chipper or with Pirates in the beginning of March and so on. And this is very, very crucial. Step by step, keep calm, keep cool, but express expectations, and that's my job. And that is definitely something where each and everybody should know where we are sitting. And in this moment, if it comes to it, what I heard before in a comment, are the players playing for the coach? Are the players playing for the whatever in terms of, if this comes to such a level of discussions, where are we? That's bullshit. That's absolutely not something what should be discussed even. They are professional players. They have families. They have to provide income. They have to provide to pay the bills, and not following the non-payment culture probably we have worldwide meanwhile. And if we come to it, do I want to play for this coach? Do I want to play not for this coach? Oh my God, really? This is what we have to discuss on a professional level? Then we're far behind.
Talk about professional and families. Yeah, beep. Do apologize for that comment. Slipped by there from Coach Ernst Middendorp. We do regard it as a family show, but I understand the heat of the moment came out. Now, because of time, what is it, Coach? This is the final straight that you're in. The points differences are so marginal. There's not much to differentiate. You where you are, top 8 position, win 2 games, you shoot right up. What are you promising the Dube Birds?
Position 13-14 in the end of the season. That's the minimum what we have to achieve, and I'm quite convinced about if we are getting each and everybody into the right direction, it will happen.
Coach, I look forward to seeing that happen. Such an honor always hosting you. and welcome to the new home, sir.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Coach Ernst Middendorp, let me take you back, though, to this day in history. 5 penalties were awarded in a single DStv Premiership game. 2 were missed and 1 was converted by Sundowns, while Ajax Cape Town scored all their opportunities. Sundowns were the eventual winners, 3-2. And guess who was the referee on that day? It was Victor Gomes, now retired, now sitting at home, now enjoying life.
Hi, Robert. Sakilelo, Emlas Gazette. Robert, I want to ask Middendorp, how long is this contract and what is his mandate to the club? Thanks, Robert.
Evening, Mr. Marawa. Usbongeleni lo kamkhwani kamgaya mathafen. Mr. Marawa, just a quick one to Coach Ernst Middendorp. With this history, Mr. Marawa, he has to his name, Mr. Marawa, does it not bother him that he has not clinched the DStv Premiership with all these clubs he has been with? We all know that he come very, very close to do it at Kaizer Chiefs. Does he has that wish to one day maybe retire with the 1 or 2 DStv Premiership titles? Thank you, Mr. Marawa.
Looking at his expression, of course he does. Just give me a number. Your contract, how many years?
I don't know.
You have a contract?
I have a contract. I signed something, but in my age, in my situation, I don't really read each and everything. You get served 25 pages or even more, and then so many clauses in. If they want to have you out, you can sign 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. If they want to have you out in 1 month, in 4 weeks, in 3 weeks, there is so many clauses in. You didn't use the way, the motorway. You can go to the you come by bicycle or whatever. Then you have already a problem. An issue. Therefore, in this contract situation, with all respect, let's work and do the maximum. Look into the season now, and of course, I can everybody assure that I'm quite clear structured about and know all the names in this disc team. I train them even myself, go to Germiston where they are work. In the moment I can even say there is nobody who has the potential to jump in, despite it was handled and managed before, and were hope spreading all over that there are fantastic talents. These guys are talented, yes, but not prepared for PSL fighting the relegation.
Right there, Coach. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. Catch you tomorrow.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live.
#MSW.